Hi, you just tuned in to the Out of the Nowhere podcast, the life, advice, and anything in between podcast where we talk about how absolutely nothing in your life comes out of nowhere. There's always a story, there's always a path, and there's always something to learn. Come back weekly to shoot the shit with me, your host, KG, while I share some of my stories, some anecdotes, maybe ask you a question or two, a product might be sprinkled in there. Join the fun. Hello, it's editing me here. So throughout this entire episode, the closet door is like a little bit open, which bothered me. And then there was things on my bed. I don't know. The background just was not together like I would like for it to be. It's not that it's always together anyway, because there'd be shit back there, but whatever. So it bothered me a little bit. So if it bothers you, I'm sorry. I think I was just so excited to record this, like so excited to come on here and talk to you guys about this that yeah, I don't know. It should just be happening. So I hope you enjoyed the episode nonetheless, because I think it was a good one. But yeah, just ignore it. Just ignore that. Maybe I will check. I didn't even check the video. Usually I record a little bit and then see what it looks like. I didn't do that. I was just hype as fuck. So anyway, bye. Just want to let you know that. Hello. Welcome back to Out of the Nowhere, where absolutely nothing happens out of the nowhere. I guess I should say welcome or welcome back, right? Because some people, it's like your very first time listening. Like, who knows? I don't know what your vibes are. If this is your first time listening, wow, hello, welcome. Nice to see you. Happy to have you. So this is going to be part 2 of our Signs of Alignment series, but it actually was brought on by me just having a little me moment. One thing that I will say, and this may be if we're bringing back the game changers, this is probably a game changer, but obviously, when you live alone or you have a lot of time alone, you might, work, you might be the only one in your house during the day, whatever it is. If you have time alone, it's different than having intentional alone time, doing things that are more intentional. And I used to think that was I had to take myself on a solo date or whatever it might have been, but that's not really the case. Sometimes it's just chilling and putting your phone down, or even if you are using your phone, maybe you're just not communicating with others, you're just minding your business, right? And yesterday I had a little alone evening. It was fantastic. I made myself a little champagne spritzer type vibes. It was actually just some lemonade, and then I muddled some strawberries and put champagne in it. It was bomb as fuck though, we'll say. And I just watched the Terrell show. I don't know if you guys watch the Terrell show, another game changer. I'm gonna put his YouTube link in the description because he's so fucking funny. But he has this show called I Know You're Fucking Lying. It started from a game that was on his normal show, the Terrell show. And then he made it into a card game, and now he has a game show on his channel, which is funny as fuck. And they put out a couple episodes every Thursday, and I just love it so much. So I was watching those episodes. I had to catch up. I didn't know there was already 4 out. I thought there was just the 2. So now I had to watch the other 2 and then the 2 more. Whatever. I had to watch the other 2 and I think the 1 or 2 more that came out yesterday. So anyway, I was having some alone time, and I was just thinking about human design. And if you don't know anything about human design, I will look it up. Honestly, I'll put a link to a human design website that I think is really easy to digest, myhumandesign.com, in the description bar for you all. But essentially, one of the key themes within human design, because really what you're doing is understanding your gifts and your own energy, right? And one of the things they always talk about there is deconditioning and kind of removing yourself. This is you. Removing yourself, if you're watching this in the video version. So this is you. Removing yourself from the outside factors that you've kind of picked up, little particles that you've picked up, or things that you've kind of clogged up your energy field with. This is the energy field. You're kind of clogged up your energy field with from other sources, from other people, because everyone's energies works differently. Everyone's gifts work differently. The way that everybody moves through the world, there's so many pieces about you that are different than those around you. And they always call human design the science of differentiation, because you are so different from others. And in any case, they talk about this deconditioning concept, which is, like I said, decluttering your energy field from the mess that is not supposed to be there, right? And obviously there's conditioning from everywhere. Society, from your family, from your friends, from random things that you read or whatever, things that you pick up that you've somehow internalized or brought into practice and didn't even realize, that doesn't really serve you and your energy. And I was sitting there and I was just thinking about kind of how I've been deconditioning from certain things. And the one thing that came up in my mind that or actually a couple things came up in my mind, are being judgmental, perfectionism, and criticizing others. And I think as like a people, as humans, we like look at things and we might have a judgment about it, right? Or like we at least create some type of opinion about whatever is going on. And I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, you could keep it to yourself. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't always have to share. It doesn't really, like, it doesn't really matter. And also, it doesn't really have much hold on what other people are doing. Like, what you eat won't make me shit, and who you gotta love a J. Cole reference. But anyway, like, what you eat won't make me shit, and who you fuck won't make me come either. You know what I mean? That's what he says. I think, what's the song called? Land of the Snakes? Maybe? I think so.
It was in fact not Land of the Snakes. It was actually Forbidden Fruit. It's fine.
Adam's apple. Slick with words, don't hate me, son. What you eat don't make me shit, and who you fuck don't make me come. Put a price on my head, won't make me run.
Anyway, I realized, one, that I live in a very like judgmental, like we live in a very judgmental world, but I also have a very like judgmental, perfectionist, and like criticizing family. And sometimes my inner voice is reflecting of that. And I always have to like shut her, like I have to like let her know, like, girl, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. And there's even like certain things in my nature that override everything that's been conditioned around me, right? So that I know that there's a part of me that's like completely deconditioning those pieces, but like it's just, it's a slow burn. Literally, when you think about it, you've been living a certain kind of way for however many years. In my case, it's been 31 and a half. 31 and a half. I'm about to be 32 soon. Anyway, 31 and a half years. And I have been living that certain type of way. So here we are now. And you're like, okay, I don't want to be like that no more. And I know that I'm not no more. I don't want to be like that anymore. And I know that that's not my natural nature. And I know that because typically, like, the first thing that I do, like my first instinct or like my first response to something is always like, oh, wow, okay. Like, very much in an accepting manner. And then you might go and tell somebody, or you might say something, or you might repeat the story, or you might like, run it back in your head and be like, oh my God, that's so fucked up. Da, 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 da. But it's really not. Like, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter to me. You did it, not me. Right. And I think even with those pieces of conditioning, it even had me feeling like everything that I do is wrong. Like, if it's not right, it's wrong. Meanwhile, sometimes if I feel like a lot of times right and wrong is it subjective or objective? Those are terms that I feel like I don't really know, right? So I don't really use them that often because I'm not sure which one is which, but whatever. It's really like person to person, case by case. That's what I'm going to use. And then I'm going to look up what objective and subjective means so I can really add it into my repertoire because I would like to be able to use those words properly. Anyhow, wow. Sometimes, this is just a side note, but sometimes, like, I'm a really smart person, but sometimes, you know how you just don't know everything? Like, you have to remind yourself that you don't know everything and it's okay to not know. That's even a part of this, like, perfectionist, this criticism, this judgmentalness of it all, right? Like, you think that, like, oh, because somebody has something, and I say this all the time. I actually literally just said this to a friend yesterday. Like, people are impressed by the stupidest things because I could earn 3 pieces of paper, like 3 different degrees, and still not know what the difference between objective and subjective. It's just a thing, it's fine. But people are like, oh my God, you have all these things. But it's like, I actually don't know everything. And sometimes I don't know easy stuff. But in any case, it was funny because I was talking to my cousin yesterday. We were talking about, there was this story that she sent me. I think it was from like the neighborhood talk or something. But there was this guy, he's a teacher at a school, I think like a middle school, high school, or whatever. And he had, like, at the end of the day, I think had a hair appointment, like, nigga shit. He had a hair appointment after school, and he like asked some of his classmates, or not his classmates, some of his like students. Sorry, those aren't his classmates. He's not a classmate. He's not a student. He's a teacher. He asked some of his students to help him take his braids out. So he's like sitting there. Mind you, he put this on TikTok. Now, all right. Anyway, so like he's sitting at his desk, and like the girls are helping him take his braids out. Cool, whatever. Now, is that an appropriate place to be having people take your braids out at your job? Is that truly appropriate? Probably not. Should he maybe not have put it on TikTok? Maybe not, right? But I mean, hey, but now they want to try to like suspend the dude and like make him lose his job or whatever the situation might be. And she was like, oh my goodness, like this is bullshit. And I'm like, wait, in what way? One, because I always want to understand people's opinions and figure out where they're coming from. But she was like, the fact that they want to expel him for this. I was like, yeah. I was like, but, and she was like, but it's not appropriate. I was like, exactly. But one thing that I want to say, and this goes along, I promise this goes along with what I'm saying though. I don't think that we do enough workplace appropriateness training. That was a lot of craziness that I just said, but I don't think we do enough training in the workplace to really judge people on shit like this. Hear me out. Common sense is not common. That's always been a thing. And I think back in the day, before we decided to be woke and we didn't want to offend anybody or whatever the vibes might be, when you would go to work, like you do those little module trainings, but they also tell you about shit that you can and cannot really be doing at the job. And they were very unapologetic about it. I felt like that was something that was very clear. Like you knew what the workplace culture was. You knew what you could and could not do at work. Like you could understand that, right? Now they're leaving so much up to interpretation because they don't want to offend somebody or say something or whatever. Fuck that. If you're in a workplace and you need something to be a certain type of way, or you want to be able to hold people to standards, you have to be able to give them like some rhetoric. You have to be able to give them some things to go off of. Like there has to be like, you can't be having your students take your braids out, my guy. You can't be doing that. This isn't the place for that. This is school. You know what I mean? If one of your students was sitting there taking her braids out in class, that wouldn't be appropriate. So it shouldn't be appropriate for you to be able to do that as well, in my opinion. But those are rules that should be laid out. And I mean, it can't, it doesn't have to explicitly say like, no braid taking out during the class day. But it's kind of just like, we need to figure out a way to set precedents here, because you can't be judgmental. You can't put somebody on the stand legitimately without having some type of rules and regulations in place. At that point, everything is fucking hearsay. You know what I mean? So when you're thinking about trying to be judgmental, or you want to, whatever. Oh my God, what if this isn't recording? Hold on. Oh, it is. Okay, just checking. I don't know why. For some reason, I felt like we need like an indicator light on the iPhone to say that things are recording. Anyway, sorry guys, small tangent. One woman show here. One woman show. But in any case, you cannot expect certain things, expect people to understand like what's appropriate and what isn't, because you don't know what you don't know. And I think that's probably the biggest reason why I have such a hard time being judgmental, because 90% of the time when you're looking at somebody and you're saying like, oh my God, they're fucking up, they really don't know. Like a lot of times people really don't know. Now there are some cases where people just do shitty shit, just people just do things that are just bad. And maybe not even just bad. I hate using that word because I feel like that's like bad and good. But sometimes people do things intentionally and they know exactly what they're doing, And other times there's no negative intent. Like I could even look at that man and be like, he didn't have any like negative intent with that. But it was just like, my guy, no. Case in point, my sister was a young mother. And obviously, like, we're all living life for the very first time. I think that's one of the key things that always like recenters me back into the thought of like, give people grace, right? Give people grace, give them the benefit of the doubt. And also the main reason, like I always say, the main reason why I want to like get on here and tell y'all the stuff that I be learning is because you don't like, or the things that I go through or whatever it might be, the things that I be learning. I don't know why. Sometimes I'm like, girl, can we just, how to formulate proper sentences. Anyway, the reason why I want to come on here and tell people the things that I learned, the experiences that I go through, all of that in a very candid and real way is because everyone is here living life for the very first time. Your experiences, your lessons are going to be different than mine. And if we were to just all share them in a good forum, in a great way, in a loving, caring way, I think we'd be a lot more successful as a human race, if we're being honest. Because there's always so much gatekeeping, or people are just so ashamed to talk about the things they've been through or gone through or whatever. Like, I'm not ashamed to say that I used to be a really judgy person. And sometimes I do have moments of being like, and I mean, that doesn't mean that things can't give you the ick. That doesn't mean that sometimes things just don't vibe with you. I think that's still a human experience, because you're not going to vibe with everybody. You're not going to like everybody. You're not going to enjoy everyone's personality. But I can at least say like, I'm just going to let you be you then. And, give you a little bit of unconditional love going with my day, And I think that's beautiful. I think that's one of the most beautiful parts of my personality, if we're being honest, because people could really tell me anything and I'm just like, oh, all right, it's crazy. Cool. But that's not going to change the way that I treat you. It's not going to change the love that I give to you. None of that. And I've seen in my life so many different instances where that has happened, where, and then it could be within family, it could be in friendships, whatever it might be. And there's obviously a threshold here. I'm not going to say that I let everybody just step on over me and act crazy and whatever that is. But it's kind of like, okay, well, that's just you, especially when it comes to people's personality types or, a mistake they may have made or whatever. But taking it back, my sister's a young mother. She's living life for the very first time. Her children are living life for the very first time. And she's bound to make mistakes, right? I think any parent, anybody in relation to anybody is going to make mistakes, right? You're gonna do something wrong. You don't know the answers to everything. And I look at her and I see her trying to be perfect or trying to keep things bundled up nicely and make it look nice or whatever. But there's nothing simple, easy, or just downright correct about being a parent. Like everyone's gonna fuck some shit up, right? Everyone is going to make a mistake. There's gonna be some type of trauma that your child's gonna have, no matter how fantastic you are as a parent. But like, she's made some mistakes. It's fine. It's fine. We just have to learn from them. I mean, repeating the same mistake is low-key insanity. So if you continue doing the same things over and over again, now we have to look at you like, is everything okay? Do we need to call someone? Do you need some help? That type of thing. But and like in the grand scheme of things, you give them the wrong medicine dose and somebody sleep for a little bit longer than they're supposed to. As long as they woke up, we're good to go. You know what I mean? I don't. You didn't know your kid had an allergy. Now their like cheeks are turning red and they're getting a rash. How were you to know? You know what I mean? You have no idea. And you can't really beat yourself up about things like that. But I see in my family, like a little slip up or, maybe, she's 20 something, like she's in her early 20s. You still want to live your life as an early 20-year-old, right? So like you want to go out with your man, you want to do whatever. We see like family members giving her weird looks or talking about like, oh, you should be here, da 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 da. She doesn't know that. So just tell her instead of being like passive aggressive about it, instead of being judgmental, instead of, making comments about it or like expecting perfectionism or expecting yourself who is, maybe 30 some years her senior, 40 some years her senior to understand or like to in her or like expecting yourself in her with all your years of experience. You may not have been acting like that at 20, or maybe you were, but not everybody is the same, right? And I've always been someone who I just want to hear you out. We can have a conversation about, what might be a better choice, but hey, like it's already done or you've already made your mind up or whatever it might be. Like, let's just keep it moving. And a part of all of that, a part of like trying not to be so judgmental and really just being understanding and still giving back that love and care in a way of like, let me try to help you move forward. Let me, like, do you want to hear my opinion? Do you want to hear what I might do? So we can kind of come to maybe a better solution, especially when it comes to like your younger siblings or even just like your friends and shit. Like sometimes like everybody's brain works differently. So sometimes it's just nice to say something and be like, maybe you should try this, I don't know, just saying, like, just throw it out there. And being able to throw it out there without any expectation is also very important too. I am somebody who is Delulu. Delulu is the Salulu in my mind. I will say it all the time. I'm fucking delusional. I'm delusional as hell. It's fine though. It works with my energy. It's worked out for me thus far. But I also tend to be so, I don't want to say that. I don't want to claim it over what's from here on forward, but in the past I've been delusional to the point where like I have these expectations or these delusions of grandeur that come out of like literally out of nowhere. It's like, where did I even get that from? Where did you get that delusional thought from? Or like, where did you place these expectations? And I think expectation tends to sometimes take away from what's really happening in the moment. And like I said in the last episode, like you need to be present. And sometimes I would notice myself going to extremes with these expectations and they were like so unrealistic. And it's like, girl, that is not what is happening. Please, please, stop. But we're getting that together, right? My expectations now, I feel like I'm a really creative person when it comes to like being a dreamer, being just like a visionary for things. Like I can have a vision for something and then we can figure out how to execute it. And I'm really good at understanding other people's visions too. Like if you share with me your dreams, your visions or whatever, I could take it in. I'm actually putting a mental picture together and it's beautiful. And let's figure out how we could get that going. But I think sometimes I have to just be a little bit more realistic or only do those expectations when it comes to my own visions. Like when it comes to me and not what I can control, but what's in my heart, right? Like having that hope piece. And that's really funny about human design. In human design, there's a thing called your motivation, which is a little different than what we would say our normal motivation is. Like, people always say motivations are fleeting and this, that, and the third. But in human design, your motivation is kind of just like your outlook. And mine is hope. Like really just this thought of like, things are going to cross my path. Beautiful things are going to happen to me. I'm going to like all the visions that I've ever had, all the things that have ever been in my heart are going to come true because why the hell else would I have this vision? And like being able to, excuse me, oh my God, that fucking smoothie, being able to discern whether the vision was for me or not. Cause sometimes I have visions that should be for other people, just like ideas that I just kind of throw out. But there's something in it where like I can almost feel into it if it's supposed to be for me, you know? So in any case, those expectations that I used to once set on others, I'm just kind of like, no, let's not do that. That would be nice if that happened, but let's detach from it. Like, let's just put it out there and detach from it. And I think that's part of the law of detachment or law of attachment. I don't know. One of them. Just kind of like, you know, dream it, let it go, and then see what happens. So that's kind of what I've been working on there. But pulling away from that like perfectionist tendency, and I think this is what I was going to get to a little bit earlier. Like there's certain things inside me that just won't allow me to be a perfectionist. I like a clean space. I like things to be organized. I like to know where things are. But my level of organization may be different than somebody else's. It's not going to be color coded by sleeve length or whatever. I'm not doing all that. I'm putting the things in there. We're putting pants with pants, shorts with shorts, whatever. But it's going to look nice. It's going to be hung up a certain type of way. There's like certain things about me that I'm particular about, but I'm not a perfectionist. And growing up in a very perfectionist home that actually isn't, like when you peel back the layers of what my mother would have said is perfectionism, or what she thinks is perfect, the way things are set up, it's still her own little nest. Like it be looking messy to me. It be junk to me, but to her, like this is in its perfect spot, and this is in here, and this is, and I'm like, this is junk. Why do we got this? You know what I mean? And my sister's the same exact way. We laugh about it, but it's one of those like, okay, deconditioning from what this person told me something should look like, or even when it comes to having your own space, and you, like, I feel like everyone does this. You leave your parents' home, you move into your own space, and you almost are kind of like replicating your parents' space, or like, you know, whoever your caregiver was, you're almost like replicating their space. So you're thinking like, if I get a kitchen, I got to have all these things, thinking about all the things that maybe like your mom, your grandma, your aunt, your uncle, whomsoever had in the fucking kitchen. No, you don't need all that stuff. You want your bedroom to have 10,000 pillows because your bed always had 10,000 pillows. You might be cool with 5. You know what I mean? Like 5 might be your happy place. It's just like rewiring your brain, or kind of like I said earlier, like letting go of all the extra junk that you've picked up and only dealing with your essentials, right? That's what I feel like human design has brought me to, or just like being able to declutter my mind, or just pulling into my own, is that space of like, all right, I'm let me go on what Caitlin wants. Let me take a second and only do what I want to do. Let me make this space what I want it to be. Let me execute my own vision. Let me not include anybody else. Like I'm planning a move for later this summer, and I was talking to my mom about it, and she's like, "Oh, well, I'll come and help you." Da da da. And I was like, "Actually, no, it's okay." Because she was trying to take over my shit. She was trying to turn my homes into her home, find all this junk, all this mess. No, you can come later after I get it all together. You can come like give me a month, and you can come through, and we can get whatever little extras or whatever that might be. But to begin, no, I need this to be my space, my energy. So I asked my dad if he would come with me instead, because he's just going to be down for whatever, and he'll just help move the shit. But I think it's just funny when you start to realize the parts that you pick up from others, kind of how other people influence you, and clear it out. Like let it rain and clear it out. You know what I mean? Like just bye. No, I don't need all that in my life. I don't need any of that type of stuff. And thinking about parts of like, and it's funny because, I felt like those 3 things, like the judgmental, the criticism, and the perfectionistness, were really 3 main areas that I just needed to let go of, or that always felt funny to me. And I think when you take a second and think about how you're moving, stuff that just feels funny to you, things that you don't naturally do, but maybe you do them around other people, or you notice stuff in someone else and it gives you a little twinge. Like, you know how you hang up someone and you're like, I don't like that. I don't like that. It's that. It's that. Those are those things that you're like, oh, I don't think that sits well with me. And I think that's where you can start. That's exactly where I started. The comments about, oh, well, so-and-so didn't do this, didn't do that. And I'm like, oh, well, did you talk to them about it? Did you say something to her? Did you discuss this with them? What was your thought? Oh, no, I didn't say anything. That's how you know it's like judgmental, because you're not really trying to help nobody. You just want to be sitting here in the peanut gallery making comments. Keep your comments to yourself. And that's one of the gripes I had about the interwebs, because y'all be getting these comments on people's Instagrams and their little Twitters and their da-da-das, acting a plumb fool. Shut up. DM your homegirl and tell her about it. You don't have to put that in the comments. It's fine. You do not. You don't have to put it in the comments. It's okay. They don't give a fuck anyway. And it's not nice. It's not kind. Actually, scratch that, because we're not even worried about being nice all the time, because nice people be getting hurt. Let me just say that. But you could be kind, and that's not kind. It's not kind to be in someone's comments, ripping them to fucking shreds. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You guys seen that girl where she was like, she'll say something and she'll be like, oh, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm gonna find one of her. I'm gonna find one of her TikToks or her Instagram, something. I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna put it in there so you guys know what I'm talking about, so you can get the reference if you don't already. But yes, so a part of your personal alignment is to remove the gunk, remove the mess that's in your energy field, remove the things that don't resonate with you. Let it go. Let it go. Okay? Let it go. Like fucking Elsa and them in the Frozen movie. Let it go. It can't hold you back anymore. Let it go. It'll make you feel better. One day I'm going to come on here. I'm going to be serious the entire freaking time. The entire time. And you will know that I mean business. I mean business anyway. I'm staying on business regardless. This is really real. I'm being so serious, but like, you know, we got to have a little something in here. But no, let it go. Think about those things that make you feel a little icky. Think about the parts of you that are kind of like, I don't really like that, or things that you don't really love, and see how you can change them. It could be like a slow process. It's very much a slow process, actually. It's not an overnight success, but definitely something you can be working on. Because I literally have to say to myself, like, well, that's crazy. Still like you though, because there's many a thing. There's many a people that do things that I don't really enjoy, or say things I don't really enjoy, whatever. I still love them. And I still fuck with them to some extent sometimes. Sometimes to a high extent, sometimes to a low extent. But it's like, okay, that's you. See ya. All right, well, I've yapped for 25 minutes, so I'm going to let you all go. But I will see you on the internet somewhere. Bye. I don't have nothing set up. Okay, that's fine. Boo boo doo 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 doo. Cause I'm on a mark. $1,000,000 bag. I don't know why that song is stuck in my head, child. The password. The password. I'm just thirsty as fuck. Thirsty as fuck. Why does everything take so long to load up? Why do I always start the recording before I... Because once you sit down, you don't want to get back up. That's why. All right. Let's get the mic together. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Chat. Is this going to mess up the video? To charge these. I want to charge them. Oh gosh, there's hair. There's hair. Hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. I just hate how this be holding up my collar. Like, it probably looks sloppy. Maybe I need to start wearing better shirts. Maybe I should start getting dressed for the pod. Maybe that would be. But I feel like that would take away from something. I don't know. All right, let me put all of my stuffs on silent. Our normal audience member, Rocky, is not on the bed today. He's actually over here in the chair. So you all are not able to see him, but please know his presence is still here. He's still here for us. All right, let me drink a little bit more of this. This is so good. Wow, I didn't have to do this so good. I didn't have to make this so good. That's going to be hard not to drink during. It sounds like my hands are ashy. They're not. It's just cold in here. There's no ash. Okay. All right. Let's get comfortable. Comfortable. All right, beginning in 3, 2, 1.